Okay, folks, get ready because today we're going deep into something really interesting.
We're talking UAPs.
Yeah, unidentified anomalous phenomena, but we're not just talking about your everyday UFO sighting.
Right. We've got declassified documents, leaked reports,
Even congressional hearings.
the whole 9 yards.
Exactly, the whole 9 yards, and it all points to something,
Pretty extraordinary.
yeah, potentially a secret government program called Immaculate Constellation.
A program so secretive it makes ATIP look like child's play.
Oh, wow, more secretive than ATIP.
That's right. And we've even got a document from a congressman's website that seems to confirm it.
Seriously, a congressman's website.
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up.
Okay, so what exactly is this Immaculate Constellation program all about?
Well, from what we can gather, it seems this program was all about controlling information about UAPs.
Controlling information.
Yeah, detecting quarantining, even
Yeah.
potentially transferring UAPs before the information could get out.
Before it could get out to who?
To the public, to even other parts of the military and intelligence community.
So they were basically trying to keep all of this under wraps.
It seems that way. And the document even mentions something called alien reproduction vehicles.
Hold on, alien reproduction vehicles?
ARVs, it's a term that sparked a lot of debate, even among experts.
I bet. What do they think it means?
Well, some believe that ARVs are basically motherships, capable of deploying smaller UAPs.
Like a mothership sending out little scout ships.
Exactly. Others think it might be something else entirely. But the fact that it's even mentioned in this document,
Pretty wild.
yeah, it suggests that we're dealing with something they consider truly extraordinary.
Okay, so let's talk about the technology for a minute. What kind of tech were they using to track these UAPs?
We're talking about some seriously advanced spy tech, IMINT and MESENT.
Now remind me what those are again?
IMINT, that's imagery intelligence.
Okay.
So I think satellites, high-altitude aircraft,
Okay.
and MESENT is measurement and signature intelligence. That's data from radar and other sensors.
So basically they were throwing everything they had at this problem.
Exactly. They were using technology that's usually reserved for tracking enemy missiles or nuclear submarines.
Wow. This is getting more and more intriguing by the minute, but if this program was so sophisticated, why haven't we heard about it before?
Well, officially, the Pentagon denies that Immaculate Constellation ever existed.
They deny it completely.
Yeah, they say there's no record of it, but not everyone's buying that.
Oh, really? Who else is involved?
Michael Schellenberger, a pretty well-respected journalist, actually published an article claiming that he verified the name Immaculate Constellation with sources familiar with the program.
So we've got a leaked document and a journalist backing it up, but the Pentagon's denying everything.
Yep, and it gets even more interesting. Schellenberger claims that his sources have been threatened with surveillance if they speak about the program.
Wow, things are definitely heating up. So if this program, Immaculate Constellation, was actually tracking UAPs, what kind of things did they see?
Okay, now this is where it gets really good.
Lay it on me.
The document and Schellenberger's reporting both describe specific UAP sightings with incredible detail. We're not talking about blurry lights in the sky here.
What kind of detail are we talking about?
Multiple witnesses, radar tracks, even FLIR footage.
That's forward-looking infrared, right?
You got it, the good stuff.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here. Give me some examples.
All right, how about this one? The CENTCOM cuboid formation. Imagine this.
Okay, I'm imagining.
Multiple metallic orbs maneuvering over the ocean, caught on FLIR. And they're not just flying around randomly, they're forming precise geometric shapes.
Metallic orbs forming shapes over the ocean. You're kidding, right?
Nope, multiple witnesses. The FLIR footage, it all corroborates the account.
Okay, that's just wild. What kind of shapes are we talking about?
First, a perfect square, then shifting into a three-dimensional cuboid formation.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Exactly, but this is real. Or at least that's what the evidence suggests.
Okay, so we've got metallic orbs forming geometric shapes over the ocean. What else?
Another one that stands out is the Indo-PACOM Fast Mover, an oval-shaped UAP tracked over the Pacific Ocean, moving at incredible speeds, making rapid maneuvers.
Something our technology couldn't do.
Exactly, and this wasn't just a visual sighting either.
Yeah.
They picked it up on mass and T2, meaning it had a significant energy signature.
Okay. I'm starting to see why someone might want to keep this quiet.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're just getting started.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear more about this.
Well, then buckle up, because in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to get into even more strange and fascinating sightings that Immaculate Constellation documented.
I can't wait. This is already mind-blowing.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
All right, listeners, hold on tight because we'll be right back with more incredible details about Immaculate Constellation and the UAPs they were tracking.
And trust me, you won't want to miss this.
Stay tuned.
So before the break, we were talking about some pretty strange UAP sightings, right?
Yeah, metallic orbs forming shapes in the sky. It's hard to even imagine.
Right, and that's just one example. There's so many more.
Well, let's hear them then. I want to know what else Immaculate Constellation documented.
Okay, so remember those shapes we talked about earlier? The orbs, the discs, the triangles?
It's like a whole UFO starter pack.
Exactly. Well, those shapes weren't just random occurrences.
What do you mean?
They were reported over and over again by military personnel over decades, from like 1991 all the way to 2022.
So we're not just talking about a few isolated incidents here.
Nope. This is a pattern, a consistent pattern that suggests something truly unusual is going on.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me some more details. What kind of patterns did they see?
Well, they didn't just report the shapes. They also noted specific details about their size, their movement, even the way they interacted with the environment.
So it wasn't just like, oh, I saw a triangle in the sky. They actually recorded specific characteristics.
Exactly. They were paying attention to detail, and what they saw was pretty mind-blowing.
All right, let's break it down then, shape by shape. What can you tell me about the orbs?
The orbs are fascinating.
Yeah.
They're consistently described as perfectly spherical objects.
Okay, like a ball.
Yeah, but these balls could range in size from just a few feet to several meters in diameter.
Wow, so some of them are pretty big.
Yeah, and get this many reports mention their smooth metallic-like surfaces and a complete lack of any visible propulsion systems.
No wings, no engines, no exhaust plumes.
Nope, nothing. It's like they were just floating there defying gravity.
How is that even possible?
That's the million-dollar question. Witnesses often describe them moving silently and effortlessly, sometimes at incredible speeds, making sudden stops and sharp turns.
Stuff that our aircraft could only dream of.
Exactly. It's like they're operating under a completely different set of physics.
So we're talking about technology that's far beyond anything we can even comprehend.
It seems that way. And it's not just their movement that's strange. There are reports of orbs hovering silently near military aircraft, like they're observing or even interacting with them.
Okay, now that's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's like they're curious about us studying us.
And you mentioned that some UAPs have been known to interfere with radar systems and even cause electronic malfunctions in aircraft.
Right, and that includes orbs, too. So it's not just passive observation. They can actually affect our technology.
This is starting to sound less like science and more like science fiction.
I know it's hard to believe, but the evidence is there.
Yeah.
So what's next? What do you want to know about?
Okay, let's talk about the discs. Are we talking about like the classic flying saucer image?
Pretty much. They're generally described as larger than the orbs, sometimes as big as 20 meters in diameter.
Wow, that's like the size of a small airplane.
Yeah, and they often exhibit similar characteristics: smooth surfaces, no visible propulsion systems, and the ability to move silently and with incredible agility.
So we're talking about objects the size of airplanes zipping around the sky without making a sound.
Yep, pretty unsettling, right? And some reports even mention seeing lights or glowing panels on the discs, adding another layer of mystery to the whole thing.
Okay, so we've got silent orbs and glowing discs. This is getting weirder and weirder. What about the triangles? What can you tell me about those?
The triangles are interesting because they're often described as being much larger, sometimes as big as a football field.
Wow, a football field. That's huge.
Yeah, huge, and typically reported as dark triangular shapes with lights at their corners and sometimes a red light in the center.
Okay, I can picture that. What about their movement?
They're often described as moving silently and with incredible precision, often hovering in place or making sudden sharp turns. And get this, there are even reports of triangles traveling at supersonic speeds, breaking the sound barrier without creating a sonic boom.
Wait, what? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but that's what the witnesses report. It's like these things are operating on a completely different set of rules than anything we understand.
It's like they're playing by their own rules.
And it's not just their movement that's strange. Some reports mention the triangles emitting strange electromagnetic pulses or beams of light, potentially interfering with electronic systems.
So they're not just breaking the laws of physics, they're also messing with our technology.
Yeah, it's like they're showing off a little.
Okay, this is officially mind-blowing. What about the boomerang shapes? Those sound pretty unusual.
The boomerangs are intriguing because they seem to combine aspects of the discs and triangles. They're often described as large, dark, boomerang-shaped objects with wingspans comparable to large aircraft.
So like a giant boomerang.
Exactly. But here's the thing. They're often observed gliding silently, sometimes at very high speeds without making a sound.
So they're like giant stealth gliders, but what would be the purpose of that?
We can only speculate, but some researchers believe the boomerang shape might be related to some kind of advanced propulsion system or aerodynamic design that we don't yet understand.
So we're talking about technology that's so advanced we can't even begin to grasp it.
Pretty much. And that's just the common shapes we've talked about. There are also reports of more irregular organic shapes. Imagine things like amorphous blobs of light or even structured articulated forms that seem to defy categorization.
Okay, now that's just getting weird. What are we supposed to make of those?
These reports are often the most perplexing because they challenge our preconceived notions of what technology or even life could look like. Some witnesses describe these irregular objects as appearing almost biological, with appendages and fluid-like movements.
So we're talking about something that's not just technologically advanced, but potentially something entirely different, something we haven't even considered.
Exactly. And these irregular UAPs are often associated with bizarre phenomena, sudden temperature changes, strange sounds, even feelings of unease or disorientation in witnesses.
This is starting to sound less like a scientific investigation and more like a horror movie.
I know it's a lot to take in, but the evidence is there, and it's up to us to try to make sense of it.
So we've got orbs, discs, triangles, boomerangs, and even weirder shapes, all exhibiting capabilities that are far beyond our current technology. It's almost overwhelming. What are we supposed to do with this information?
That's the big question, isn't it? The Immaculate Constellation document doesn't offer any solutions, but it does raise profound questions about our place in the universe and the limits of our understanding.
It makes you wonder, what else is the government keeping from us if they've been tracking these objects for decades? What else do they know?
That's what we're going to explore next. We'll delve into the evidence for government secrecy and what it might mean for the future of UAP research.
Okay, this is definitely a rabbit hole I'm ready to go deeper into. Okay, so we've talked about Immaculate Constellation, we've talked about the crazy UAP sightings they documented, and the fact that these things seem to be operating on a whole other level of technology.
Right. And now the big question is, has the government been keeping all of this secret from us?
Exactly. I mean, if this program was real and they were gathering all this data, why haven't we heard about it before?
Well, the document we've been discussing was leaked, remember? It wasn't officially released.
Right. And the Pentagon is still denying that Immaculate Constellation ever existed.
Exactly. They're sticking to their story, that there's no record of it.
But we've also got Michael Schellenberger, the journalist, saying he verified the program's name with his own sources.
Right. And he says those sources were threatened if they spoke out.
So it's a leaked document, a journalist corroborating the story, and the government denying everything.
Yeah, it definitely raises some serious questions about a potential cover-up.
But why would they go to such lengths to keep this quiet? What are they so afraid of?
Well, one theory is public panic. Imagine if the government suddenly announced that they've been tracking UFOs for decades and have no idea what they are.
Yeah, I can see how that could cause some chaos.
Right, people might freak out.
But couldn't they at least tell Congress? I mean, isn't that the law?
You're right, the National Security Act of 1947 says Congress has to be informed about these kinds of programs.
So if they were keeping Immaculate Constellation a secret from Congress?
That would be a huge deal, a major breach of the law.
Wow, potentially even a constitutional crisis.
Exactly, so there's definitely a lot at stake here.
Okay, so public panic is one reason. What else could be motivating them?
Well, another theory is national security. Imagine if these UAPs have technology that's far beyond anything we have.
They might be worried about falling behind in some kind of technological arms race.
It's exactly like a new Cold War, but with unknown adversaries.
And then there's the possibility that they're trying to reverse engineer this technology themselves.
Right, remember those alien reproduction vehicles mentioned in the document?
The so-called motherships.
Yeah. Some people believe they might be trying to get their hands on that technology and figure out how it works.
But isn't that stuff just science fiction?
It might seem that way, but Luis Elizondo, the former head of ATIP, has said that the government has conducted secret crash retrieval programs in the past.
Wait, seriously, they might actually have pieces of these things.
That's what he claims, and he's also said that some government employees have even been compensated for injuries they got from UAP-related activities.
Okay, now that's just mind-blowing. So we've got public panic, national security concerns, and a possible race to reverse engineer alien technology. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's important to remember that these are just theories. We don't have all the answers yet.
Right, but it makes you wonder what else they're not telling us?
Exactly, and that's why it's so important to keep asking questions, to keep pushing for transparency and accountability.
Because we deserve to know the truth.
Absolutely, and maybe by shining a light on this mystery, we'll not only learn about UAPs, but also discover something new about ourselves and our place in the universe.
Well said. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive into Immaculate Constellation and the UAP mystery.
But this conversation is far from over.
That's right. We encourage you to keep exploring these questions, do your own research, and keep an open mind.
And if you have any information you think might be relevant, don't hesitate to reach out.
We're all in this together, searching for answers in the vast unknown.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep looking up.